The Cradle on Io is a very mysterious place, being one of the last places the Traveler touched before the darkness engulfed the system. The Traveler, which once hovered in this exact position, was forced to flee, eventually retreating back to Earth and making its last stand above humanity. But what is this Cradle and this silver tree that lies within? Today we're going to discuss some new lore that hints at the connections to this tree's origin, some interesting Nokris dialogue, and also glitch back into the Whisper mission to check out a close-up view of the pyramid ship looming over the Cradle. Also friends, my first-person adventure game Remedy comes out this Friday. This is my first game. It's going to be on Steam and also itch.io. Maybe consoles in the future, but if you'd like to show your support, that would be super amazing, so please head over to Steam and give it a wishlist now. So Io is super mysterious and very different compared to other locations. Not that the other planets in the Destiny universe aren't mysterious, there's tons of that going on, but this place has always kind of intrigued me, be it the bones scattered across the surface, the Warmind bunkers submerged under the terrain, or just the ruins left by the Traveler there sitting in the valley. There's always something to think about, at least for me when I'm wandering around Io looking at this type of stuff and thinking about all the lore as I always do. A couple of years ago in the summer, I think it was, we got a top secret Whisper of the Worm mission here in the Lost Oasis. Clues were starting to get uncovered that hinted at a new activity, a dungeon that could award a new exotic, which turned out to be the sniper rifle Whisper of the Worm. The cool thing was though, you could actually glitch into this new zone before the mission even went live on that one Friday. So before anyone had the Whisper itself, you could explore and ponder what this area might entail, what battles would go down, who the final boss would be, and things like that. Now, I wasn't the first one to discover how to glitch into this mission itself, but I do believe I was the first, or one of the first, with my fire team, to glitch really close to these ruins where the Traveler once floated, and where it terraformed some of the land. Now back then we called it the Lost City on Io, which, isn't technically true, but it makes it sound much more cool, and I thought it'd be fun to revisit this area now that we have a different skybox out there with the pyramid ship, and give it another look to see if anything has changed. So timestamps are on screen for specific areas if you'd like to skip it around. We have the lore, the ruins close up, and towards the end of the video a big chunk of that is going to be showing people how to glitch into this area if they want to check it out for themselves. So let's get started. Very early on in Destiny 2, we had this dream cutscene which depicted many different things. You had the Guardians and their powers, the Traveler terraforming new lands such as here on Io, and the arrival of the pyramid ships, the collapse. Although the Traveler had to flee due to the impending arrival of the Doritos, something still happened on the surface of Jupiter's moon here, a tree of silver wings it was called. Eris tells us that this tree was spawned by none other than the Traveler, and it is definitely pretty crazy looking. It's got symbols all over it, it sort of spirals up towards the center of the whole valley here, and its architecture is not really like anything we've seen around the Traveler or any of the other planets in Destiny. As the season progresses, I'm sure we'll hear more about this specific tree, but there was actually another tree long ago referred to as the Tree of Silver Wings as well. But this one was in a time that predated everything in the universe, even humanity. A time when light and dark were aware of each other's existence and resided close to each other around this tree. Here's an explanation of this from the Gardener and Winnower card released back in Shadowkeep in the Book of the Unveiling. Once upon a time, a gardener and a winnower lived together in a garden. It was once before a time because time had not yet begun. We did not live, we existed as principles of ontological dynamics that emerged from mathematical structures, as bodiless and inevitable as the primes. It was the field of possibility that prefigured existence. They existed because they had to exist. They had no antecedent and no constituents, and there is no instrument of causality by which they could be portioned into components and assigned to some schematic of their origin. If you followed the umbilical of history in search of some ultimate atavistic embryo that became them, you would end your journey marooned here in this garden. In the morning, the gardener pushed seeds down into the wet loam of the garden to see what they would become. In the evening, the winnower reaped the day's crop and separated what would flourish from what had failed. The day was longer than all of time, and the night was swifter than a glint of light on a falling sugar crystal. Insects buzzed between the flowers and worms slithered between the roots, feeding on what was and what might be the first gradient in existence, the first dynamo of life. Rain fell from the sky. Voices spoke without mouth or meaning. A tree of silver wings bloomed, yielded fruit, shed feathers, bloomed again. In the day between the morning and evening, the gardener and the winnower played a game of possibilities. So this card is pretty cool. We have these two entities, the gardener, who you could speculate or assume is the traveler, or more likely the light in general, and then you have the winnower being the representation of the darkness and the dark. These two once coexisted together in this garden, the gardener creating and then the winnower who would sort out the gardener's doing and sort of wipe out that which would not flourish. One day these two entities began to fight, and this tree of silver wings which resided in the garden, possibly the Black Garden, was destroyed. So that was the tale long ago, so you can look at this new tree now, which is also referred to as a tree of silver wings, and think of the possibilities of why the traveler spawned this thing here in the first place, and what was its plan. Now, like I said, I'm sure we'll get more info hopefully as the season unfolds. We know Bungie likes to build up things and tease a lot of deep lore entries and things like that, but definitely some pretty crazy stuff going on over there on IO for sure. Let's next take a look at some cool connections and then a close-up near the pyramid ship and those ruins we were talking about. So first up, here's a picture of the ground near the ruins. If you look down when you're doing the glitch here, you'll find symbols like this, and you can also see some of these just when you're patrolling around in general. And then here's a picture of, I believe, the triumph or the seal for this season. We can see that the images are very close, having these same sort of maze symbols, or at least resembling some of the same things. Now, not sure if this is some type of secret out there, if this is going to come into play later in the season or not. Perhaps it's just referencing Isle being an important place for this season in general, but I figured it'd be cool to share with you regardless. And finally, here's a look at the pyramid above those ruins, close up in this glitch area. First up, if you zoom in, you can see the up-close look at the tractor beam heading down towards that silver tree. You have the lights near the bottom of the ship, which can be seen from trailers as well, and also some cool shots of the tiny pyramid sort of clinging to the larger one. But Guardians, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I was rewatching the old glitch video from back in the Whisper mission and wanted to revisit the area and see if anything changed along the way. So instead of just uploading the same thing of glitching into the area and just looking at the Cradle in general, I wanted to throw some lore in there now that we have some more and put a little backstory behind it, so hopefully you enjoyed. Now the rest of the video will be a little tutorial on how to glitch into that area if you'd like to explore for yourself, so it's just some gameplay showcasing that. But thank you so much for watching. If you're still watching to this point, I thank you very much. And if you haven't wishlisted my game yet over on Steam, it comes out this Friday, and it's going to be super exciting for sure. I'm going to be doing a cool little connection thing here between my game and Destiny. So if you find my hidden logo in the game, which is an Easter egg in the game, I will buy the first person to find that Beyond Light for free. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see some more videos just like this one, be sure to subscribe to the channel. My name's Evade, and I'll catch you Guardians in the next one.
You